Oh, hold on. Let's see. We're live.
You fumbled.
No, it's professional. I was doing some Mr. Producer.
The
All right,
ball's loose 5 seconds into the game.
no. We're putting a little flavor onto the stream today. Hold on. Let's see.
Uh,
Okay, yeah. The live stream looks good. Okay, so before we get too deep into this and give people life-changing advice in multi-million-dollar game, let's make sure that the microphones work and they actually can hear us, because I've had this problem way too many times. Comrade Kamala, your buddy, your running mate.
it's your mate.
That's your mate.
It's your mate.
Your mate keeps doing matrix attacks on our streams and cutting out my mic. So those of you in the chat, tell me right now, can you hear me and Logan? Oh, I guess I got my. No, I can just do this.
Fugaze.
It's your mate. Oh no, yeah, we're good. All right, beautiful. We're good. All right.
Fires. It's your mate that confirms it.
No, so all right. So here's the thing, right? I know it's been many weeks since you've made it onto the show, but it's good to have you back, Logan. Back on the Ultimate Market Professionals, doing what we do every single Monday, right? So the stream after the one that you were on last, which was like 8 weeks ago, I told everybody that the reason you couldn't make it to that stream was you were speaking at a Kamala rally, and then afterwards you went to a pro-choice rally, and then you went to a slut walk where Amber Rose hosted.
I don't even know what that is.
Well, so and then a slut walk where they get all the sluts to go walk. I guess because they want to.
That doesn't sound that bad.
Well, for us gentlemen, it's a nice. That would probably be a nice walk to attend. But apparently, it's for the ladies to go ahead and, you know, I don't know. I guess be sluts. So, anyways, I just want to ask you. I just want to ask you how that went. So, how was the rally, and how were those events? Were they good?
Yeah, it was good. The Kamala rally was interesting. We had Meg the Stallion there. Yeah, she had an unbelievable performance. Definitely, I'd say the top talent of our generation, maybe of all time. Yeah, just a good inspiration, good role model for young women of this country to look up to. So definitely was cool seeing her live. It was great spending some time with Kamala in the blue room, green room, whatever. Um,
Probably the blue
Pro-choice
room for
rally,
her.
yeah. I mean, we had a pretty crazy turnout. A lot of parents with their kids there, which was interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, not yeah. I'm
Hmm.
still trying to figure that one out. Slut walk, same old.
Same old
Yeah, yeah,
classic.
all good.
Good.
Yeah, I hit
Good.
you up last week to do this, but you were MIA. I wasn't sure what happened. So
I was busy conquering the earth. I was just charting new territory. So, a little bit different than a Kamala rally, but, we all have our reasons. With Kamala, I know that they were supposed to have Beyonce perform at this past rally. Turns out a lot of people are a little bit upset because Beyonce didn't perform. What were your thoughts on that?
well, I don't know. Did you watch JD Vance go on Tim Dillon?
I didn't. No.
Okay. He was talking about it, and they were talking about the vibes from a Kamala rally. And JD was saying he's been trying to put his finger on what it is about those rallies that's just so weird and just so disingenuous. And Tim said he'll watch them and everyone will be smiling and laughing. And then within 2 seconds, it's like a switch flips and they go straight back to like, what is going on? And he talked about her laugh specifically, and he was saying it's like a substitute teacher whenever they give you homework in school
Mm-hmm.
and the students like, we don't want this, you don't want this, why are we doing this? And he said that she just has that like super weird laugh. Or JD Vance said it's like whenever you hit someone's car and you get out and you're like kind of laughing, you're like, hey, we're all okay, like we're all good, and you're trying to like lighten up the
Right.
situation. And yeah, they were just talking about their rallies, and it is just, it feels so, something's off really bad.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because you could easily say we have a bias, or even JD Vance. Obviously, JD Vance would have a bias towards those rallies, but I don't even think, me being as objective and honest as possible, I don't even think it's being biased. I genuinely watch those videos of those rallies and I listen to her talk and I see the audience, and you'll get the good clips here and there where it sounds good, but if you really just listen to one or watch one, it is weird. It is. I think about that. I actually cringe every single time I see her talk. And it's,
Yeah.
again, I'm not trying to be, ideological and aligned with a certain type of party. So everything that the other party says, I'm against it. No, I just look at it for what it is and say, this is what the hell is going on here.
Yeah. I haven't seen her condemn Christianity. Yeah, I saw that at the couple of the rallies. Someone said Jesus is king, I think, from the audience. She said, "Oh, I think you're at the wrong rally," and everyone's going nuts. It's just insane. And honestly, I mean, Tim Dillon, I mean, he says all kinds of crazy shit, but I mean, he's libertarian, and at the end of the day, he doesn't really believe in the change that one party is going to be able to bring, whether it goes one direction or the other. So he's pretty unbiased. I mean, he shits on everybody and makes fun of everyone, and I mean, he sees it too. So yeah, it's definitely something's off.
For sure. And the laugh is insane. Once she said, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys are at the wrong rally," whenever he said Jesus is king, and she starts going, "Ha ha
it's,
ha ha."
it's insane.
Yeah, it's you can see, especially, I mean, more so the left than the right. Like you said, though, I agree. Neither party, the elites of either party, do I agree with, or I think have our best interests in mind. No, but the left more so than the right absolutely shuns and despises religion and God,
Mm,
because it it goes against what their ideological beliefs are. So their religion is the transgenderism and the abortion and the pro-death type of cult, that death cult where everything's about less human beings, more killing, less people. It all goes against Christianity, and that's why they shun that type of stuff. And so it was really enlightening to see that literally happen in the public setting, to see her say that to a person who said Jesus is king. It's, you can't hide it that they really are against that, because it's against everything that they believe.
yeah. I mean, they talked about it on Tim's podcast too, JD Vance, because Tim was asking him, he said, how did we get to this point where they're, preaching gender theory in elementary schools and these kids are learning about all this ridiculous stuff? And he said, JD was talking about how being a teenager is statistically, it's a confusing time in general. So he's like, obviously, there's a lot of young guys and young girls that are like confused about sexuality and all this stuff. But now instead of them being confused, it's like, oh, you're confused. You might want to be the complete opposite gender than what you are right now. And he said then you zoom out a little bit and you see that these pharmaceutical companies are making billions and billions and billions of dollars off of these sex change off the hormone drugs. And he goes, why do you think why do you think it's happening? It's like it's so obvious. It's just once you have people in politics that have power to make change and to have this kind of an influence, and they're being given money by all these outside interests, I mean, you just lose yeah, it's you lose all the foundation of a well-functioning democracy. So I mean, lobbyists are just the the beginning of the end.
So, and that's interesting that you said that with why are they teaching kids so young. You you think about it and you say, why is their target audience children? Is because they are easily impressionable. So you can manipulate their beliefs and their minds when they're younger to try to believe the things that they believe. And the reason they also need children is because they can't have children themselves. So when you have an ideology that's built around death, so abortions, transgenderism, being gay, all that kind of stuff, all that leads to no new human beings. That means you either killing babies or you're not having them. So if you're killing babies and not having them, then who are you going to pass your ideology along to? Well, it literally has to be the children of other people. And this is why I think you see such a huge culture shift right now with the younger generation and parents too, towards the other side of the spectrum, because people are getting pissed off that they're having their children not only taken away from them, but brainwashed and being taught things that they don't themselves want to be taught to their children. So you see now parents are getting upset, and of course you should. because it's your child. It's your child that you're raising, you're paying for, you're feeding, you're protecting, you're providing for. But other people who have no interest in your child and their actual development or have any hand in developing them, they want to come in and just hijack them and give them their own belief system that doesn't come from the house, doesn't come from
Yeah.
the own home.
Yeah. And I mean, it's such a small percentage of the population that actually aligns with those kinds of values. It's just the loudest voices.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's getting traction, it's getting marketed, it's getting news coverage, it's getting publicized, it's getting talked about. And it's just so extreme. Whenever, I mean, not that Andrew Tate ever preached those kinds of values or anything like that. But whenever someone does come out and is very extreme, whether it's good or bad, it's going to get publicity. And I think that those views are just so, everyone knows it's ridiculous. Everyone knows it's just so extreme, but it just continues to get talked about and talked about and talked about because it's so controversial and no one wants it, but it's still getting pushed. It's like, who the fuck is behind this? Like, no one wants this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just insane.
Yeah, that's like such a great point too. Trump, whenever he was on the Rogan podcast, he mentioned that a few times about a couple of different issues, where he said, "What majority wants these things to happen?" Right? This is supposed to be a democracy. So he was talking about one of them being the illegal immigration into the country. He said, "What majority of people want illegal immigration?" Everybody you talk to says, "I don't want illegal immigration. Why would I want just mass illegal immigration?" It's not a majority of the country that's in favor of this. So if the majority is not in favor of it, then why is it happening? Right? That's something you got to think about. This is supposed to be these people want to call it a democracy. Okay, well, if the majority of people want it a certain type of way, then that's the way that it should be. That's the whole point of a vote. And if you don't agree with the way that the country thinks as a whole, if it's a fair democracy, then fine. Then you can research and find other places to live that do align more so with the way that you think. That's fair enough. I think that is a fair way to look at things, because even me myself believe that if I'm in a country or in a place that I don't agree with the morality or the politics that's taking place in this area, as long as it's a fair democracy and I'm a part of the minority, I'll leave. I'm not the guy who's going to sit here and say, no, I'm going to impose my will and impose my belief system on a majority of people who don't agree with me.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. The problem is that it isn't the majority that's thinking this way. And the minority's trying to impose their will and their belief system onto the majority of people. That's wrong. That I
Yep.
disagree with.
Yeah. I mean, JD talked about, with whenever they were doing polls with the Latino community, the individuals who immigrated to the country the proper way. He said they're more pissed off about the illegal immigration than anybody because, they're coming in, they're stealing their jobs, they're undermining their wages. They're working under the table for no money, and they're messing everything up for them. And they saw what they had to go through to get into the U.S. the correct way, and they see these people that are just coming in and destroying their neighborhoods and messing with their career, messing with their lifestyle, messing with their family, making it a dangerous place to live. He's like, they're more pissed off than anybody. And if anyone has a right to have an opinion on, people coming into the country, it should be immigrants. Like, let's see what they have to say. Cause especially if it's people coming in from the country they came from, and they're the ones that are the most pissed off about it. So
Such a great point, because both of my parents are immigrants, right? My father immigrated from Italy, my mother immigrated from Venezuela, but legally, right? So people try to argue, well, it's racist, not racist. No, there's a legal process to be able to come into this country. Both of my parents went through that process legally and legally attained their American citizenship. There's nothing wrong with that. Nobody's arguing against that. But of course, these people that do it the right way, wait their turn, get their visas, get their green cards, get their citizenship, etc., they're going to be pissed off that now the border's open and somebody can just literally walk across a piece of land and bang, now you're in the U.S. All good. So you get to skip the entire line. It's as if you went to a restaurant and you're standing in line to be able to order your food, and then 10 guys just walk in through the door. There's a line of 50 people, place is packed out, and they just walk right to the front of the line, order in front of all of you, and then get their food and go. Wouldn't that piss you off?
that
Oh,
would be sick.
yeah, you'd be sick. That's literally what they're doing with the immigration. So there's this line for 5 years out, et cetera, however many years for whatever country you're from, because there's different stipulations for different countries. You're waiting in this massive line, and then now you're seeing all these people just fucking skip the whole line saying, fuck you, peace. just walking
Hmm.
in. So yeah, of course you're going to be upset. Why even have a legal process then? And the, the last point I'll make on that too, that I think is so funny, is people say that it should be okay for these people to be able to come into the country illegally, and then I think to myself, in the word itself is the word illegal. I don't understand how you can rationalize illegal immigration when the word illegal is literally in the name of it. Like, I don't understand. So okay, so we
Yeah.
can do illegal immigration. So then, can I illegally rob you? And can I illegally take your car? And can I illegally, shit? Now, so then what? So then, what laws are we gonna protect and not protect? It just doesn't make sense.
Oh yeah, and the people that have opinions on are in landlocked states that are 2,000 miles away from the border and will never have their lives affected by it. They're the ones that want to have the strongest opinions on it. It's like, why don't you move down there and see how it is?
Yeah, yeah. Go to a border town like Nogales in Arizona. Go to a border town in Texas and then see what those people think about illegal immigration.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, it's so easy to have an opinion on something that's you know unfavorable to the people that it's affecting, but if it's not affecting you, it's very easy to just have the opposite opinion. Well,
Hmm.
well, no, if you were living there and you were seeing it, then you probably would feel a different way. So you got to be able to sympathize with the people that it's actually affecting, right? Not
Yep.
just
The
go
legal citizens it's affecting.
right, exactly. The people who actually have the birthright to be here, not the
Yeah.
ones who decide to pull up, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't, invite people into your country if they want to be here. That's a beautiful thing. Immigration's a beautiful thing, but illegally, no, it's not. Good way to start though.
Crypto.
Crypto, yeah. Last thing I want to mention before we jump into crypto, because there's something because we haven't done a live stream for a little while, so it's good to just talk about a couple things. So, and I believe this will transition well into crypto because I think it's important to be aligned with God and understand what your priorities are and what you're trying to accomplish long term. And then we'll tie that in into how crypto will help you do those sorts of things. So you were talking to me about something really interesting on Saturday, right? About modesty
Mhm.
and its relationship with religion and God and the Bible, and how being modest isn't hotter, but it's better. I believe that was the phrase.
Yeah.
So I know it's super off the wall, but I thought it was such a good conversation, and I like the way that you articulated it. So if you just want to explain to people a little bit about your relationship with God and how important it is to you, and then just kind of the concept that you're telling me about modesty, and then we'll tie it into how crypto will play into this.
For sure. Yeah. So I was watching this, it was a recorded service from a couple years ago, and it was talking about modesty and just how things have changed over the past, really the past 20, 30 years, especially. And, he kind of compared it to being in a hot tub. So he said, you get into a hot tub, it's 104, 105 degrees. It feels super hot whenever you first get in it. But after you're in there for 5, 10 minutes, it's not that the water's getting colder. It's just you're getting desensitized to how hot the water is, and it doesn't feel like it did when you first got in. So he said that over time, the way that people have dressed, and this goes for men and for women, has just become more and more and more and more revealing. And now it's like everyone's just so desensitized to it. It's like you think about it from a guy's perspective. It's like you can't go to the gym without seeing whatever. You can't go on Instagram. Porn is something that's so easily accessible to everybody. Most guys are saying that the average boy now is getting exposed to porn when he's like 10 or 11 years old in the US. That's the average age. So it's like before, the first time that a guy would ever see a girl naked, or the first time that a girl would ever see a guy naked, it would be on their wedding night. And it's like, when people are wearing long cloaks and gowns and these type of, apparel, they're not seeing anything. Like a girl would never see a guy's biceps, would never see a guy with his shirt off, would never see any of that until their wedding night. And then it's like your brain's exploding. You're seeing that for the first time, anything. And now it's everything's just so extreme, everything's so revealing, everyone's showing everything, not just, at the beach or at the gym or in person, but also all over social media. You can't really get away from it. And he talked about whenever you go fishing, he said you use a different type of lure depending on what kind of fish you're trying to catch.
Hmm.
So he said if you're going catfishing, you're going to use something that smells like shit. If you're going bass or trout or whatever, you're going to use a different type of lure. And he said depending on the way that you're presenting yourself on social media and in person, it's going to determine the type of person that you're going to end up attracting. And if you're a woman, for instance, and you're dressing, kind of scandalous and you're showing a lot of your body, you're going to attract guys that's what they're interested in and that's what they're looking for versus attracting a guy who's a Christian man that has good values, that's liking you for your personality. And the reason that's so important is because of that chart that I talked to you about. And it showed on average women from the ages of 20 to 50, and at each age, what age of male they were most attracted to at that age.
Hmm.
And it was for every single year from 20 to 50, it was within 2 to 3 years of their current age. Where for men, all the way from 20 to 50, it stayed between 20 and 23 years old, every single age from 20 to 50. That was what men were still most attracted to. So you see so many broken relationships, and whenever couples are in their 30s and 40s, early 50s, etc., because that's what the man fell in love with. No one beats gravity at the end of the day. It's going to catch up to everybody. And once that aspect of the person is gone, he's going to go looking elsewhere or vice versa. It can go both ways. So, yeah, it's like you said, it's not hotter. It's really hard to have your values in the right place with how kind of broken people's brains are nowadays with how much it gets put in your face.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's so important to be attracting the right attention, be presenting yourself the right way, and yeah, be looking for the right things in the people that you're meeting, and especially when you're finding a husband or a wife.
Right.
Um, yeah, so I mean, I thought it was a great message.
Yeah, it is, and you think about that because after you have experience with multiple relationships and you start to understand the way that you think and feel about people and what actually makes sense long term. If a girl is always putting themselves out there in a way that's hypersexualized or just showing too much or being too provocative, the reason they're always having problems finding somebody that's going to stay with them is because once that sexual attraction is gone, then the relationship is over,
Mm,
right? If you build a relationship off of lust, that lust will fade, right? If that's what you're there for, then you're going to get one of two things. Either time's going to kill you because they're going to get less attractive, or two, boredom sets in. You just do it enough times to the point where you're just not even, it means nothing anymore. You've taken away all the value. You've done it 1,000, 2,000 times over the course of multiple years. It's like, all right, I'm not excited about doing this anymore. So
yeah, and whenever someone has those lustful thoughts for you, it's like those thoughts are going to remain throughout the relationship. So, whenever that guy or girl that has those thoughts and got into the relationship for that reason, they're going to continue to see other people, on social media, at the gym, out at the club, at the beach, whatever. And that's not a type of feeling that can be tailored to just one person. If that's the only thing they like about the person that they're with, that's going to continue to range elsewhere. It's going to continue to stretch to other people. And yeah, I mean, it's going to end up destroying the relationship. And so many people I've listened to on podcasts talk about that whenever they found that connection with God and they started looking for the right things in the relationship, they said it was instant. It's like years and years of failed relationships and failed dates and things being dead ends and almost feeling like there was no shot. Like it was just they were never going to find the person that they were meant to be with. As soon as they switched what their intentions were and they switched what they were looking for, it was within a month or two. And they ended up getting into a 5, 6, 7 year relationship and still with the person.
fantastic. And I noticed that looking back on my previous relationships, right? The last one, long term relationship that I was in, I look back now, I understand that was one of the mistakes that I had made is more of that relationship was built upon lust. So over time, I just got bored. And over time, things were just didn't go as well because once you lose the attraction in that sense, then the relationship falls apart, right? If you can be around somebody and that's not even a thing that you think about, you're just more entertained through the conversation, through their presence, the way that they make you feel, their sweetness, their touch, just those sorts of things that can actually last over a longer period of time, you're going to find yourself in a much, much, much better and healthier relationship. Because I think about it and I look back at the way that I had treated, you know, a girl in my previous relationships, I thought to myself, there were times that I genuinely didn't even really want to see her do well, which I look back on and I say, why would I think like that? Why would somebody that I'm with, right? Why would I have any kind of resentment towards them? And resentment builds up quickly in relationships if you let it. And then I turn back and I look at uh, then I look at other relationships that I've had and I say, wow, I actually genuinely, how would I put it, care for this person. So now my rhetoric towards them and my feelings and my thoughts towards them are all so positive. It's, oh, I believe in you. Oh, I want you to do well. Oh my God, I'm so happy that you did that. I'm so proud of you. That you actually start to uplift that person because as an individual, you actually care for them. So similar to, you know, guys, whenever guys become really close friends, you always just want to see them win, do well, et cetera, because the relationship's not built on anything attractive wise, obviously, right? We're not gay, but
You might be, but
but it's a more genuine relationship, so that's why you want to see them do well, right?
yeah,
And so if you can develop a relationship the same way like that with a girl, that's the way that you want to do it. Um,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
I mean, there's a book. What's actually sitting behind me, but it's called "10 Stupid Things That Men Do to Mess Up Their Lives" or something. I think it's similar to that. And one of the big things that she talks about, because this woman's talked to thousands and thousands and thousands of guys and girls, and she gives a very non-biased point of view on a lot of things. And the one thing she says that so many guys do is they give up on the girl that really cares about them. And she said that's one of the biggest mistakes that guys make is walking away from the girl that really gives a shit about them for the girl that seems flashy and seems better looking and seems like there's maybe the grass is greener on the other side type of mentality. And they end up kind of taking the girl that cares about them for granted. I mean, you saw it in like the Wolf of Wall Street. He had that girl that was with him from the beginning, was so solid, supported him through everything. And then, he started having that next level of success, started getting exposed to the other girls, and then went for, Margot Robbie and ended up completely disrespecting his girl, burnt the relationship, and she would have done anything for him. You could see it in her eyes in the way that she treated him from whenever he had nothing to whenever he blew up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I think that it's really easy sometimes whenever you have a person that is there for you and you can count on, they care a lot about you. It's super easy to kind of take that person for granted because you just assume that you can do anything and they're always going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy to stop putting in that effort. And I think that's why a lot of couples, the effort dips a lot after marriage is because now they're locked, it's permanent. They are the other person, they kind of feel like they're not going to go anywhere. So they can just start slacking off and take their foot off the gas. But I think the right approach to it is like your wedding night should be the least amount that you ever love the person because you should just continue to build on it every single day after that initial marriage.
Right.
Yeah, you can't take those people for granted because it's easy to do.
Right. And it's interesting you say that because then once you get married, exactly the reason that person fell in love with you in the first place is because of who you were before they met you or who you developed yourself to be. So if you stop that development and you stop doing all those things, of course they're going to become less attractive to you over time and you're going to think to yourself, what happened? All of a sudden you don't love me anymore? Why are you leaving me, etc.? Well, yeah, because you're not the same person that I fell in love with in the first place. That was a lesson that I had learned much younger was over time looking back I realized, oh wow, I actually got softer and I actually came off the gas as I was deeper into a relationship because I didn't understand at that point that all of my value came from development and being who I was in the first place, which was athlete, fit, doing well in school, et cetera, et cetera. And then all these things start to dip and I start to do worse and worse and worse over a long enough period of time. I don't realize it because it's over the course of 2 years, 2.5 years. I think everything's okay. But looking back on it, I realized, oh shit, I got out of shape. I was drinking too much. I was doing, too much partying at college, not putting effort into the relationship, et cetera. And then you realize, oh wow, I see why this thing had fallen apart. It makes
Yeah.
sense.
And I mean, I think it's so easy too to run away from accountability in relationships because it's like at that point, and it's not always, sometimes there are things that the other person's doing that you can't really control, and sometimes the other person is the one fucking up. But I think it's really easy to run away from accountability because at that point, maybe you're slipping on a lot of this stuff in your personal life. You're not working out as much, you're not doing as well in school, partying too much, whatever, and she starts treating you differently and starts acting completely different in the relationship. And at the time, you're just looking at what's in front of you. You're just kind of pissed off. You're kind of confused. You're like, what changed? What's going on? Why are you acting like this? But then afterwards, once you reflect on it, you kind of realize, oh, I see why I'm the one that caused this to kind of fall apart. I'm the one that caused her to act differently. This was me. And that's why I think, yeah, accountability with everything is so important. And because whenever you give away accountability and you put the blame on somebody else, you're giving up control of the situation entirely, and you're saying that you can't control the outcome and you can't change it once you give away accountability for it and you blame it on someone else. So yeah, I think that's super important too, to reflect on the relationship and what's going on while you're in it, not
Mhm.
just be looking at the other person playing the blame game.
Absolutely, and that's the last point I'll make before we jump into the charts. But that exactly is, yes, you always have to take full responsibility as a man, regardless of what that other person had done. You had some portion, some part in playing into that, right? Again, you can't control what everybody does, but you have to find the blame and the accountability in it for yourself so that you can readjust for the future. And this is one of the most advantageous things I started doing as a man in business and outside of business is taking full accountability for things and reflecting on what I did wrong. Once you start doing that, you start to see the world in a completely different light, and then you start to realize what everybody else is doing wrong, because you see how in the same situation someone else reacts and they place all the blame on someone else and say that they can't change it or they can't do it, or you hear these people complain for this about the same things for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, people in your own family, and you realize now, oh, it's because they place no self accountability onto themselves, they place no blame onto themselves, therefore they never actually change what's happening. When in reality, yeah, you can change what you're doing. Understand what you did wrong last time. Where were all the problems in your relationship, whether it's with God, somebody else, etc.? Identify those things and say, okay, I'm going to prevent that for the future. I won't do that again. I won't make that same mistake again, because I know what happens when I start to go down this road. And that's why somebody like me and Logan are so strenuous in our expectations at the beginning of talking to somebody now, because we understand the places things will go if you allow the girl to effectively do whatever it is that they want to do. Not that you have to be controlling, but I have certain stipulations, certain rules, certain morals that I abide by. If you don't want to subscribe to those, then this relationship's not going to work. And the only reason I would impose those stipulations is because I understand it's also going to protect us in the long run, right? So you have to have boundaries and things that you will live and die by as a man if you expect to have a good, healthy, long term relationship and then family on top of that down the road.
Well, yeah, because I mean, the alternative to it is what most people do, where at the beginning of the relationship, and we've talked about this before, at the beginning of the relationship, pretending like everything's fine, acting like nothing bothers you, saying whatever you need to say to kind of get the girl to like you and to make the relationship work. And then what people do is then 3 or 6 or 9 months down the road, after they're already in a committed relationship, then all of a sudden the truth starts to come out. They start to admit, hey, you know what? This actually bothers me. Hey, you know what? I actually don't like you doing this or that. And then it turns into a huge argument because then at that point, you're already in a relationship. Everything's already, in motion. Now you're expecting the person to change to be with you versus you tell someone at the beginning and you kind of put it all out there. I'm not saying like on the first date, just,
Yeah.
lay out your expectation one after the other. But it's like if stuff comes up in conversation and, don't just be super agreeable and act like you're on the same page with the person about everything. Because number one, the girl or the guy is going to be able to tell that that's not genuine because no one agrees on every single thing ever. And yeah, number two, it's eventually it's gonna, the truth's gonna come out. So yeah, I think it's super important because if you tell the person before you start dating, it's number one, you're kind of giving them an out. And number two, it's saying, hey, you're not wrong. I'm not saying that I'm right and you're wrong, but this is something that's a priority to me. This is something that I believe in. And if it's something that you align with, then that's great. If it's not, then, you don't have to be with me. I'm not asking you to change who you are, but this is the things that, we would have to align on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's super important.
Mm-hmm. So, how does it all tie back into crypto? Well, it started with God. So I would say make sure you guys have a good relationship with God. Believe in good
Absolutely.
things. Believe in good things happening to others, and good things will happen to you. So, into crypto. Let's take a look at some charts here, Harrison. All right. Good catching up, though. All right. So, you guys heard it. You guys see the name of the stream. Welcome to Uptober. You're probably thinking, why the fuck are they not even talking about Uptober? Well, that's because we wanted to round this out into a nice full discussion. Anyways, what are we looking at here? Bitcoin. So, what's been happening over the last month? We kept talking about Uptober. Everything's going to go up. Price action is going to be good. Blah, 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 blah. And so at the October open, we got a huge dump. So right here. Boom. You see September 29th, September 30th, and October 1st right here. Right? Boom. So as soon as October opened, what did the market makers do? They shot the price down. They scared everybody. They made you shit your pants. Let me actually get the zoom over here so you can see me and Logan. How do I do this? Hold on. I can actually make it so that they can see.
Hey, can you share? Because are you able to share your screen on?
Yes.
And I can see it.
Yeah, you're right. Good point. Okay, let's see.
I was going to say, while you're doing that, I was looking at Bitcoin dominance chart this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it's teetering around 60%, just under 60%. So it's up about 0.5% today, which I think is beautiful. And I don't know if you caught it on Market Check this morning, but the one thing I thought was really interesting was they were saying, if you look at the total market cap for the meme coins right now, if you exclude SHIB and Doge, the total meme market cap right now is like 30 billion. Louis pulled that off of CoinGecko. And so, yeah, I mean, 30 billion they were talking about, like, that's fucking rookie numbers. Like he said, and, Max was talking about how it's just, he's so much more bullish on altcoin or on meme coins, knowing that he's like, I bet you it peaks this cycle. It'll probably push upwards close to $1 trillion for meme coins once, money starts cycling out of Bitcoin and Ethereum and altcoin season goes into full swing. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is going to be the meme coin cycle, right? Last cycle, you saw Doge and SHIB blow the hell up. There was only two of those meme coins, and those are the only ones that people were talking about. Now, this cycle, pretty much all the money is moving into meme coins, whether it's because they choose to or whether it's reluctantly because they just know they're not going to get the same kinds of returns on L1s, utility tokens, et cetera, et cetera. So it is going to be the meme coin super cycle, and that's why we need to be positioned in meme coins. Essentially my entire portfolio is meme coins. Why?
Same.
Because that's just what's going to perform the best. So if I believe that's what's going to perform the best, why am I going to be over allocated or allocated to other things that I don't really believe in? So, the market, whenever it's up only, everything's going to be up only, but it's just about choosing what are going to be the real winners so that you can get that generational type of wealth play. I mean, if you hold anything during a bull run, for the most part, it's going to go up as long as it's not a small cap shitter. So anyway, so what they did is at the beginning of October, they completely dumped the price down. Boom, scared everybody, blasted out all the longs, got everybody liquidated, etc. Everybody's talking about, oh, it's not October, ha ha ha, la la la, whatever. We come back up, bang, we spit back down again on October 10th, right? Scared everybody, back down to 59,000 right here, 58,000. Everybody shit their pants. And then what happened? October is back. So now we're back to basically grinding higher. Okay, so this is on the hourly time frame. If you look at the daily, you guys are going to see that we're coming up towards the top of range highs. So here's our range, the infamous longest range in Bitcoin ever, right? So here's our range. And you see we're coming back up to range highs, right? So we're starting to attack these highs up here, okay? So once Bitcoin breaks out from, we're at 68.6 right now, right? We wicked up all the way to 69,000 this morning. Once we start pushing above 70, 71, 72, 72K and we break this all-time high over here, it's going to be, you guys are going to see meat sticks start getting put in. Okay. So once Bitcoin starts going into price discovery, it's not going to be this slow bull chop. It's going to be bang, meat stick, and we're going to start pumping. Okay. Now, when are we going to start pumping? Good question. Probably right after the election or going into the election. That's essentially what happens in markets is they're going to kind of wait, see who's going to win, maybe be some bull chop, just boom, 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 going into the election. Whoever wins the election, regardless, historically, it shows that it doesn't matter for markets. They're going to go up regardless. Now, if you want to be as bullish as humanly possible, yes, Trump would be a better win just in terms of immediate pumping because he has been pro crypto and he's been talking about crypto. And so he's bringing attention to it and he's going to bring regulation for it. So just in a micro perspective, right now, what would be the best case scenario? Trump would be better, but overall, long term, it's going to be basically the same. So, any thoughts you have on that with the election?
No, I mean, I think you're right. I know that a lot of people, my dad actually was, he was reaching out to me wondering about with the election coming up. He's like, oh, I'd almost rather be out than in for the election just because there's so much volatility and I don't know what things are going to do. And yeah, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't really seen Kamala preach against crypto. Like, I haven't really seen her. I mean, I haven't seen her make a stand about really fucking anything. Yeah.
Exactly. Nothing.
It's like, I don't, someone's running the show behind the scenes. But yeah, I haven't seen her preaching against crypto. I don't think that, I mean, I think as far as the stock market goes, I think that it could be pretty negatively impacted if Kamala does win, which tends to negatively impact the crypto markets as well. But yeah, I mean, I don't see it. Oh, Bitcoin's pumping. We're about to hit 60, about to hit 69. But yeah, I mean, I don't see it. Oh, nice. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it getting too thrown off though by Kamala. But yeah, I mean, with Trump's plans, what he's talked about with the whole Bitcoin, the federal government having a, multi-billion-dollar Bitcoin reserve and different things that he's planning on. I mean, obviously, yeah, it'd be better, but I bet you we go into price discovery. I mean, I'm hoping before the election. I think it's very, very possible because I think one of these days we're due for like a $5,000 to $6,000 meat stick
Yep.
for sure.
Yep. Exactly.
Just depends on when it's going to happen.
That's the point is that this is not going to happen slowly. Right now, yeah, we're bull chopping. Yeah, right now we're in a structured uptrend on the higher time frame. But once it goes, it's going to go, right? It's not going to go 69, 70K, then 71K the next day, and then 72K the next day, and then 73K the next day. No, it's going to be 68, 69, 70, 75, 80. It's going to go that quick. Boom, up to 80K. So it's not going to be a slow move. Oh, yeah, we're getting a little Pomsky. There we go. So, yeah, so that's where Bitcoin's at. Bitcoin's approaching all-time highs again. Uptober is real. It is here. We are moving up. So now we just got to get that last meat stick to break everything out and then get ETH moving, right? Good old ETH. We would love it to start breaking out. And once ETH breaks out, all of our meme coins are going to go ahead and go parabolic. So I wanted to talk about a couple of new things that I was looking at and that I got into from the meme coin side of things. So we already talked about why Ethereum pumping is going to cause all of our Ethereum beta plays, which are the meme coins, to outperform Ethereum. So if Ethereum goes up a 2 or 3x from its previous all-time high, then we would expect the meme coins to go up 10x, 15x, right? So something on Ethereum that I thought was really interesting and has been pumping its fucking face off since it's started its run here in the last month or two is SPX 6900. So SPX 6900 has been absolutely smoking. Let me do an hourly time frame. So this has been a new huge meme coin that came out that's going to be above $1 billion here pretty soon. So this is on Ethereum, right? And so SPX 6900, basically the thing behind the meme is it's a mockery of the stock market. So you have the S&P 500 in the stock market. It's an index fund. So making fun of the S&P 500, it's SPX 6900. So it's S&P 6900. And it's basically a movement to try to flip the stock market in crypto. So get crypto to flip the stock market and become the new premier financial market. And so this meme coin attached to that meme is fucking blowing up. So it went from at the beginning or the end of September, sub $100 million market cap, sub 100 million, all time high up at over a billion. Right now we're at about 850 million, right? So I actually pulled up right here. Yeah, so it's blowing up. And so I was looking to allocate to this whenever it was around $600 million market cap about a week ago, and I didn't get a chance to get an entry, and then the next day it fucking pumped. But yeah, this thing's been pretty much up only for the last 2 months. And so I see this being a multi-billion-dollar asset over the next couple of months. So this is something that I'm trying to get a position into because it's got a good meme around it. It's got a good community, super cult-like, and it has momentum. So, I mean, it just keeps pumping, right? So it hit all-time highs at over $1 billion market cap or close to it. Yeah, right here. Yeah, about a billion. Retraced about almost 50%, and then is already almost at all-time highs again. So obviously this would have been the ideal entry sub, pull back 50%. But once a meme coin pulls back 50% plus and it's able to come back from the dead, now obviously it wasn't a small cap at that point, but it's able to come back from a huge pullback like that, okay, this thing's here to stay. It's going to keep pumping. So I don't know if you've been looking into that at all, but if you have any thoughts on it.
It's just giving me goat Seuss trauma. I guess we haven't
Yeah.
talked about goat Seuss on the stream yet.
Yes.
Um,
Should we pull it up? I'll pull up Goat Seuss.
yeah, I haven't looked at it. Curious. I try and
Go.
avoid. I try and avoid contact.
Goat Seuss Maximus. Here we go. Let's see if they have the full chart. Is this it? Oh yeah, it's the same shit. Parabolic.
Wait.
It's at 620 million market cap right now.
It went up to 900 mil.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just a little bit of context on goat Seuss. So, yeah, we got it in a Discord. Someone had sent it. We weren't really thinking much of it. I ended up throwing a couple $100 into it, and that was at about 2.5 or $3 million market cap. This was probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And then I knew you put a little bit of money into it right after. It hit a quick 5x, so I pulled my money out, just thinking, okay, well, this is a brand new token, probably not going to do too much. And Priamo kept telling me, hey, just leave a moon bag, leave a moon bag, leave a moon bag. I'm like, nah, man, I got 5x out of it. I'm happy. Took my profits. That was about 20 million market cap that I sold. And then in the following week, yeah, looks like it pumped up all-time high, about 900 million market cap.
Yeah.
So would have been a quick 300x in about 2 weeks. But yeah, it was definitely a good learning experience. Always leave a moon cap.
Moon bag. Yeah, you always leave a moon bag at any play that you guys make. So moon bag is basically you put in $1,000, you hit a quick 5x, and you want to go ahead and take profit. So you got $5,000 now. You can take out $4,000, but you should always leave 1,000 left, right? You leave a moon bag because you don't know where that coin could continue to go, and that was obviously the case with Goat Seuss. So yeah, so I got Goat Seuss at around 2.5 mil with Logan, and just so you guys have some context, so let's say right now it's at, let's call it $650 million market cap. So divided by 2.5 million. So it was from where it's at right now, I'm up 260x. So 260 times my money. So if you had $1,000 invested, it would be $260,000. Now,
In 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. So just so you guys understand. Now, I did not put $1,000 in. I actually did put in much less, but it's still worth a lot of money right now. Yeah. As you guys, I'm sure, can imagine. But yeah, go ahead.
That's what I was talking to you about, is finding these coins. I mean, a lot of these meme coins and these shite coins that come out, they have such asymmetric risk, which is what we were talking about the other day.
Yep.
Where, yeah, you put $1,000 into a shite coin, you have obviously a 100% downside where you could lose your $1,000, but the upside on it is what? I mean, that one went up almost 300x.
Yep.
So you have a, 30,000% upside with a 100% downside. So it's extremely asymmetric risk. So, for anyone that's listening, if you guys have, say, $10,000, $15,000, or maybe you have $1,000 to play with, and you put $100 into 10 different shite coins, all you need is one of those to play out. I mean, you can have 8 or 9 of them go to zero, maybe one goes sideways, and then you get that one play that even does a 25x or a 50x, which is, a fifth of what Goat did in 2 weeks. You're up tons on your investment. So I know that that's the strategy that we were talking about potentially implementing here in the near future, is just having, say, 15,000 bucks, put $1,000 into 15 different projects over time as we see them come up that we believe in. And all it takes is one Goat play where you put $1,000 in at the jump like that, you're up $250,000. You stake that somewhere the right way. I mean, you're
Almost
doing,
retired.
yeah, you're doing all right.
Yeah. That's why this shit is so incredible. I mean, I love, you got to be a professional about the way that you go with investing. Now, playing the shit coins is not investing, it is gambling. But like
Yeah.
Logan said, as long as it is money that you are willing and are prepared to lose, if you do it effectively and you're a professional about it and you have a private Discord with people that you do trades with, and that you're investing with other people who are in the markets 24/7, they understand what they're doing, these are professionals, and you see a play like that come up, yeah, even if it's $100, $200 that you toss in there, $100 at the return that I got, that you guys saw, would have been $100 into what, $26,000.
26,000.
So think about that. Just off of one play, how much money was just made, right? Now, you got to understand it's not going to be that every single time. It's not going to be well, I'm going to throw here, 100 here, 100 here, 100 here, 100 here. Oh my God, none of these worked. Oh my God, it doesn't work. It's not, this is going to be a once a month type of thing. There's going to be one play a month like this. So the previous month was Moo Dang. Whenever the Moo Dang meme came out and everybody's crying about this little hippo in fucking Indonesia, wherever the hell the hippo was, Moo Dang did a similar thing. It went from zero to $300 million market cap in the matter of a week, right? So it's not going to be something that happens every single day, but there are those plays. If you're paying attention, you're watching these markets and you're watching these shit coins come out, and you say, okay, this one makes sense. Okay, this one makes sense. Okay, the crew that I'm investing with, we all decided this one makes sense. All right, let's toss 100. Let's toss $200, $300, just some extra money that I got. Next thing you know, you're up fucking 50 grand, right? So it is insane. And now you realize, right, the longer that we've been doing this, now you understand how there's all these crypto millionaires out there, and you think to yourself, how the hell do they do it? They just caught the one. They caught the
Yeah.
pump. They bought in with some size. Next you know, they're a fucking whale, and they got $500,000 of an asset, and they're just sitting on it and selling it as they please.
Yeah. What was the coin I just sent you the tweet of a couple days
Oh,
ago?
Project 89.
Yeah. Guy put in $1,000. 2 days later, sold 176,000, cashed out 176,000, still had over $500,000 of a position left in it,
Uh-huh.
from $1,000 in 2 days. It's like
Yeah, it's just
one
you just
one
go
play.
one play. Let's look at it. Project 89.
But yeah, I mean, it is similar to gambling because the same people who, we're saying it's just one play. It's the same people who continue to go to the casino every single week and continue to put hundreds and thousands of dollars into the slot machine, saying it just takes one, just takes one, just takes one, just takes one.
Exactly. So
So
so something like Project 89 that you were saying that guy made all that money off of, you're looking at, I mean, you're going to want to see this didn't really hold.
I think if you click on top traders, you might see his wallet too.
Yes. So like this right here, if you believe in Project 89, this is where you want to be buying at. I mean, it made a lower low, which is not good, but you want to see it come back above that support line and see if it can make it support again, and then it should start pumping again. So if you are looking to get into something like this, that would be a good buy zone if you think it's going to keep going up. But yeah, that wallet that Logan was just talking about, I believe it was this one, right? The second one. Top traders, maybe.
Yeah, right there.
This one right here, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. The guy sold almost half of his bag, made 174K, 175K, and he still has, 271,000 unrealized profits still. He made
Yeah.
he made one buy. This is literally what we were just talking about. He made one buy for $1,000. That was his only transaction. He bought one time for $1,000. The shit ran up hard as fuck, and then he sold a couple times for 175K. So he turned $1,000 into a 350x. So 350 grand.
Yeah, and the other day when we were looking at it before the price dumped, I mean, his unrealized was sitting at just under half a million, or it was over half a million.
Yeah,
So it's like, yeah, he's fluctuating up and down right now, but yeah, still, I mean, it's just something different.
different. So those are the plays that myself and Logan are dabbling in, and we're going to continue to dabble in. So outside of that, that's pretty much all we got for the stream. Got to talk about God a little bit, talk about, different types of belief systems, crypto, a couple of plays that we're in right now. Gave the people a little bit of juice all the way around. Anything else, Logan? Anything you want to leave the people